It finishes at Villa Park, Manchester United 1, Aston Villa 2. Gutted, to be honest, lads. Gutted, because you go into that game and you think, right, we're missing players that we already knew about in terms of Mbeumo, Ahmad Mazraoui, De Ligt, Maguire. All of them are already missing before the game. Then you get the lineup, Kobbie who's not in the starting lineup, and you're thinking, this is going to be rough today. And then you lose Bruno Fernandes midway through the game. And I still come out of it thinking we should have got something out of that game. I genuinely believe that we had the chances to get something out of that game. Mateus Cunha, Sesko, Dorgu had a chance. So it's disappointing. We'll go right back to the starting lineup. That was kind of all we could ask for, wasn't it? We did predicted lineups before the game, and I had Manu instead of Agate, and that was it. You can't really do much else. You look at the bench today, right, and I was thinking, how does he even change this game? How does he impact the momentum and shift it up? Because there was Xerxes on the bench. That was kind of it. That was kind of the only option we really had in that game. And the game starts, and Manchester United are getting on the ball, and I'm thinking, we're doing something slightly different here, and I can't quite work out what it is, both defensively and on the ball. And I was looking, and Mason Mount was just tucking in as an 8. So it was forming that three in midfield, like a little triangle. Agate at the base, Bruno, and then Mason Mount on that other side. And then you've got Sesko and Cunha up top, who were always a threat. They'll graft. And I thought, do you know what? That's really smart, actually, from Amorim. Because you look at Villa and you think, what do you think of them? Powerful, strong in midfield, can get on the ball, all good technical footballers. And that kind of nullified Aston Villa in that first half. And you could see they were kind of getting the ball at the back. And they didn't really have an option to get it into Tielemans, to get it into Rodgers, who were then players that are going to make a difference for them. And I thought that was a brilliant way for Manchester United to set up. Manuel Agate, I think, struggled in terms of the on-the-ball duties that he was asked to do in terms of getting the ball off the centre-half. So there's no surprise that Martinez came on and looked better at doing that in that position. But the rest of the team, I thought, was good. I thought Dorgu and Delors, their job was simply hold the width out wide. Dorgu was right out wide, Delors was right out wide, almost playing as like a traditional kind of right winger and left winger in terms of like a David Beckham and Giggs. Obviously nowhere near that level, but in terms of positionally where they were holding the width out there. My only disappointment with them was they didn't put the ball in early enough. There was a couple of times the ball went out and I saw Sesko make a run, I saw Cunha make a run, and I was just asking for him to just a couple of times just whip it in and see what happens. But on the ball, I thought we were good. I thought Mason Mount was getting into his pockets, struggled impacting the game in terms of turning and getting on the ball, but picking up nice little pockets. Cunha, I thought, was very, very good today. Driving forward, driving the ball, carrying the ball, holding off his marker. Sesko, I think, it's difficult to judge because not a massive amount of service, but then you look at the chance that he had, and for me, he has to score that. Manchester United as a striker, you have to be taking them chances. And you could turn around and say, well, Martinez came out quickly and smothered him, which he did, but I'd have probably said like a little dink or just a little bit of nous in that position. A confident Benjamin Sesko, I'm sure, puts that chance away, but it wasn't to be today. And then you're in the first half, and then the goal, you've got to talk about the goal individually. Morgan Rodgers is brilliant at the minute. He's exceptional for Aston Villa. He's their best player. He's been brilliant over the last month or so. But I don't think he should be scoring that goal. The first thing you're taught as a defender, I used to play as a fullback, right? Obviously nowhere near this level. But you're taught, if that ball's travelling in the air, you've got to get there. You've got to get to that player before it hits his foot. And Morgan Rodgers takes this touch, right? The ball comes over his shoulder. And he takes this touch, brilliant touch, keeps it in play. And Lenny Yoro's still not within a foot of him. Sorry, my hair's doing my head in here. Lenny Yoro's still not tight to him. Not tight enough. And you could say, well, he's a centre-half playing as a right-back effectively. But that's a principle of football. If you're a centre-half and you have to go and defend in the channels, that's what you do. When the ball's travelling, that's when you make your move. You get tight at that point. So it was really disappointing. And by the time Morgan Rodgers comes inside, there's not much else that anyone could do. You could ask for a screen. Not much chance of that. He's so good at the minute. And it whipped in. Sort of seen some people like criticising Lamens for it and stuff, saying he wasn't on his toes. I mean, come on. What can we do about it? And then we go straight back up the other end. Patrick Dorgu, a great bit of work on Matty Cash. And that's what Dorgu brings you, isn't it? In terms of, it can be horrendous, but he's going to bring you intensity. And you think Cunha, Lindelof just doesn't come across and he whips it in. It's a brilliant finish. And you're thinking, right, here we go. And then Bruno Fernandes gets an injury. And you sat there thinking, in disbelief almost, because all season, when we've been asking for Kobbie Mainoo to get a chance, today was the prime time. I think he'd have started the game. But then you're looking at it from that point and you're thinking, Bruno's got injured. You need Kobbie. And it's just a sucker punch that he hasn't been there today. And then obviously Bruno goes off. Martinez comes on. And I've already reiterated my points that I don't think Lisandro Martinez should be playing DM. He kind of proved me wrong in terms of when he was on the ball. I thought he looked really, really good. Like, so good in terms of breaking lines. That he's arguably number 2 to Bruno Fernandes in terms of breaking a line. Martinez is that. I was worried a little bit about the lateral movement and stuff like that. I don't think it was a massive issue in terms of how we set up because he had protection either side of him. But on the ball, it was a level above Manuel Ugarte. And you sat there thinking, right, how do we get back in this game? Don't let them score again. And then what do? We let Morgan Rogers, basically a carbon copy of that first goal in terms of the finish. Not as egregious from the defensive side, but Lenny Oro again has to be tighter in that situation. And then you're 2-1 down and you're chasing the game. And we nearly went back up the other end and scored like within 5 or 10 minutes. Cunha has a blatant chance. And I thought Cunha was very good today, but you have to score them chances at Manchester United. If we're going to sustain a European challenge this summer, if we're going to sustain a European challenge this season, you have to score them chances. You have to put that game to bed. And it just wasn't to be, was it? I thought we carried on going. Jack Fletcher comes on, Shea Lacey comes on, Xerxes comes on, and we still had some decent bits of play. Mateus Cunha in particular driving through, getting shots on target, creating chances. And I thought Dorgu quietly had a decent game on that far side. His crossing is erratic. It's not pinpoint by any means. But in terms of intensity and getting the ball in the box, he did it more in the second half. I'd be interested to see the stats, how many crosses he actually put in. I'll just try and get that up now. 8 crosses he put in the game. 2 accurate. So that says it all, doesn't it? But the willingness to put the ball in is what I like. Because Delors on the other side, I'm guessing his crosses, 6 he put in. And 2 of them were probably off his left foot, which just don't do that, Delors. He keeps doing that. Keeps swinging his left foot at it, and I'm like, this isn't the one. It's disappointing because I think we've caught Villa napping today in terms of they weren't at the races, they weren't full tilt. Ollie Watkins didn't really get in the game. Matty Cash, I thought, was pretty poor today. We could have got at him. Lindelof, I thought, was pretty poor. The midfield is what it is, tidy. It was just Morgan Rogers, and he's electric at the minute. So before the game, I was probably coming into this thinking we're going to struggle really to get anything out of it. And I think to come out of the game at the back end and say we should have got more than what we got is a positive in itself, isn't it? Because this Manchester United team has zero consistency. We've been crying out for consistency. We're not getting it. But for me, I look at our fixtures that we've had and I see no reason why we shouldn't be in the position that Villa are in. I look at that Everton game, egregious, that one, the worst one. West Ham, I look at today, points dropped. Fulham, points dropped. So many games we've dropped points where I don't think we should have. Bournemouth even the other day dropped points again. So we just need to get a grip of some games. And I'm going to do some videos on the transfer market that's coming up. There's Semenyo rumoured, Neves rumoured. I think they add a lot to this squad in terms of that consistency. You look at the squad today, the starting 11, right? If you've got Ruben Neves sat on the bench, you've got no issues starting him with Bruno Fernandes or Kobbie Mainoo, whoever it might be. And I think he brings a level of expertise on the ball. Semenyo obviously brings you a massive goal threat. The ability to carry the ball, again, which we're missing quite a bit in some areas on this pitch. But disappointing day for Manchester United. We go again next week. We've got Newcastle on Boxing Day, haven't we? I'm going to that game. That's a massive game. Newcastle started brilliantly yesterday against Chelsea, and then second half they were poor. But I never go into a Newcastle game currently and think we're going to get like an easy run at it. So it's going to be difficult. It's the only game on Boxing Day. Everyone's watching. We need to see what's happening with Bruno. We need to see if Cobby's going to be fit. If not, it could look a bit ropey in that central midfield position. But Manchester United just need to find a way to keep there or thereabouts until then lads come back from AFCON, or you can make a couple of signings. It's really difficult at the moment, but I'm positive. I'm always positive. So get down in the comments. Let me know what you thought of the game. Let me know who you think the best player was. Let me know who you think the worst player was. And hit subscribe as well. This is a brand new YouTube channel. All things United. Talking transfers, games, all that type of stuff. So get down in the comments. I'll see you on the next one.